Ahoy, hoy, welcome to the shop. Today I've got a little bit of a project I'm working on, possibly two projects. These deck boxes I've been making, I've been wanting to able to route kind of like an area in the front here because I want to be able to epoxy mount cards in there. And I was trying to figure out how to do this consistently, quickly. Obviously, a router is the way to go. And I was thinking about trying to figure out how to make a jig to make that work. At first, I was thinking of a jig to mount the box in and using the hand router. And then I realized that I was just crazy fucking overthinking this. Really, all I need is like this and just double-sided tape the box onto it, plop it on the router table, and route out what I need. And that worked really, really well for this test one, as you can see. But as you can also see, my lines are a little wavy there. Stylistically, in some cases, that might be cool. It's not here. It's not what I want to do. But you can really only get them so square with a jigsaw. So I'm going to remake this jig. I'm going to use the jigsaw and the router for that. And at some point, maybe in this video or maybe in another one, I'm going to put some dust collection onto my router table, which you can't see. The router table is down here. As you can see, it has literally no dust collection on it, and it's the messiest tool in my entire shop. I do have this, which I can figure out how to mount. Like, this guard is probably going to have to come off unless I somehow mount this way off the back like that or something. That may or may not happen in this video. I don't know. But I am going to work on the box. So what we are going to do is I have some more plywood here. It turns out a piece of 1/2 and a piece of 3/4 is exactly the right height that I need. So I'm going to cut these to the same size. I'm going to super glue them together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the jigsaw to do the primary cut of the hole. But I'm going to cut it a little thicker than I need it to be. And then I'm going to use the router table to finish it up. And I'm not going to freehand the router table. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double-sided tape some straight edges along there. And I'll use the bearing on the router table to square these up nice and neat. So let's get to work. First thing we need over here is the table saw. Here, let me give you a little bit of an eye on what I'm doing. So we probably want to, these are the same. Okay. So this size works just fine. So we'll just use this as a template. And we'll cut both of these pieces down to that size. Bring you over here to the table saw. Grab my ear protection and my breathing protection. Oh, and my eye protection. I've probably mentioned this in another video, but I got these nifty prescription safety glasses. So that's way more comfortable than trying to wear safety glasses over my glasses. And it also keeps my glasses safe from getting smashed around or something. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm putting my filter mask on. I'm just using a paper mask for this. I know it's not the greatest, but whatevs. Gets the work done. All right, dust collection on. Okay, that's all we're going to be doing with that one for now. Now we want to super glue these two pieces together. We've got our super glue. Oh, come back over here. Don't look over there. You need to look at my workbench. Get our super glue and our accelerator. Smear some of that on there. The accelerator on this side. Line them up and stick them together. Tell you what, finding out that this stuff exists is like a game changer. It like instantly solidifies the super glue. Cures it immediately. And you can go right to work with it right away. Okay. So let's find a center point here, or close enough to a center point. Still see what I'm doing? So I'm going to use this. We're going to make an X. Bring you in a little closer here. We're going to make an X on here. And that will give us the center of this block. Like that. And then we can just use the square to do the center this way too, to split it in half. Like that. Now I'm going to roughly center this. I probably want to actually center this. Right, so this is 2.5 wide and 3.5 tall. So we want to add a 1/4 inch on each side. So 2.5 will be plus a half, so it'll be a total of 3 inches wide. We'll mark that there. Mark that there. And then we've got 3.5 plus a 1/4 on each side. It'll be a total of 4 inches tall. We'll mark that there and mark that there. And now we will make straight lines there. And that will give us our area to cut out. There we go. And all this is our cutout area. Now, we're going to jigsaw this. We're going to rough cut jigsaw this hole. But to do that, I need to get the jigsaw blade up high enough. And you know what? I think I can just use this to put an underlayer under there. So now the blade's got room to move up and down. I hope that's enough room. Let's check. Let me get my jigsaw out here. Actually, I'm going to need my drill. I'm going to drill starter holes for the jigsaw. I've seen people demonstrate where you can actually make a plunge cut with a jigsaw, and I've tried it, but I don't have any luck doing that, so I'm not even going to try it. I'm going to do it the way that people do it, which is to drill pilot holes. Now, get our jigsaw blade out. One that hasn't been heat blued from cutting through very hard wood. I'll stick this in there, and oh yeah, that's plenty. So we can just double-sided tape this to the bench top, and then commence to cutting. Double-sided tape is super useful. Apparently, it's in vogue to use painter's tape for this. Put painter's tape on each piece and then super glue the painter's tape together. But that, I don't know, that just feels like a lot of extra work to me. And I can just use this stuff. I don't know, maybe there's times where that works well. Oops, come on. Of course, if you do it that way, you don't have to fuss with peeling these protective strips off here. All right. Is that a thump to engage the tape? I don't know if I can get an angle on here. You're going to be able to see me do the whole thing, so I may cut some of this out, but here we go. Of course, it helps if I plug the saw in first. They tend not to work when they're not plugged in. We can get that out of there. There. Now I'm going to cut some more closer to the edge, but not all the way to the edge. Okay. That is all the jigsaw work we need to do. Get these untaped. Blade gets a little warm. All right, let's put the jigsaw away. We're done with it. I hear you asking, how are you going to get this straight now on a router table? Well, come over here. This router bit has a bearing down here on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double-sided tape some straight edges all along here, and then just use this roller bearing to roll along those straight edges and clean all this out. Question is, what am I using for straight edges? Got some scraps of plywood floating around. Let me just use that. I'll have to cut them down though. I need 4. You know what? I can probably cut 4 straight pieces out of this. So let's go over to the table saw. Should put the drill away too. Tell you, this place is a dusty mess right now. That's from the it's from the router. All right. Let my knife go. Now I'm going to line this tape up precisely with that line that I made. And then those pieces are going to go right on that line. I think we'll make this and then do a test run with it. And I'm going to have to shorten a little bit. All right, now we'll peel the sticky part off, or the non-sticky part. The protective plastic outer layer that protects the sticky part and keeps it sticky until you're ready to stick it to something. I'm in the process of migrating all my videos over to YouTube. I mean, they're already on YouTube, but to a dedicated woodworking channel. So this video is not going to go up for quite a few months, I think. It's going to be a while before this one hits the airwaves. But it should be by the end of the year. All right, so you need to line these up precisely along that line. That's going to be too long. I need to cut them a little bit shorter. That. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let me just cut these off a little bit shorter. Cut them off like right about there. They don't have to touch all the way to the edges because the router's not going to get in that far anyway. I mean, obviously it's a rounded bit, so it's going to leave rounded corners, which is fine. I suppose I can square them off with a chisel if I really want them to be square on the boxes. That's a decision I may make in the future at some point. Okay. So now this gets flipped over like this, and we route this out. So let's bring the router over here where we can get it plugged in at some point. I kind of like to have it sit this way so it doesn't blow sawdust all over my bench. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can see. So I want to raise the router up so that bearing gets as much of this wood as possible. All right, now you're going to see a gigantic mess happen. You can see why I need dust collection on this. All right, now I just need to raise this up a little bit higher. Well, it's got to be lower than that. All right, that should be high enough to clean the last of that off. Oh, that's what I was smelling. The lower edge below the bearing was rubbing against this. As you can see, it burnt it a little bit. All right. Bring this back down so the bearing is at the level of the table. Again. And we'll do one more pass like this. And look at that. Nice clean template to use. So let's try it out, shall we? First thing I want to do is make sure that that bit is at the right height. Just high enough to go into the box. Like about 1/8 of an inch. And now we need to find the center point on this box, which we will do the same way we did for the template. So we're going to go corner to corner. And then corner to corner. And then we'll oh, right. That's the one other thing I want to do here. Hold on, let me finish this up. So we've got our center point there. Now what I want to do is take these center point lines and run them all the way through. Let me get my little one for that. So like this, see? So this way we've got a reference point inside the jig. I can probably do this with something more permanent at some point. All right. Now this is going to go on like this, and we'll be able to line our reference marks up. So let me put tape on this side. We really only need 2 pieces, I think. This is really small, and I'm going to be pushing down on it anyway. So I don't think we have to go nuts with the tape here. Just needs to secure it temporarily. Okay. So now this is going to go on here, and I'm going to line those marks up. Best that I can. There. Little thump. So I don't know if you can see, but my marks are lined up. Now I test this. Yeah, I can feel that getting in there a little bit. Let's go down with this just a tiny bit. All right, let's do this. All right, now we peel this off. Well, it's there. I think it should be. Hold on. There's my test card. Did it go blowing away? Man, can't find my test card. I may have blown it away. Ah, there it is. You can see that, yeah, that is just below the surface of that. I'd like it to be a little bit deeper than that. See if we can get this to stick back on here. This is where I'm going to have to. What I'm going to want to do at some point is do this with setup blocks. So I'll know exactly how high to have that up. All right, I think that'll do. It is a little tricky because I can't see what I'm doing with it tipped over, but we got there. That's better. That's the depth that I want. All right, and that's how that works. So I've got my jig made, and I think we're going to call it there. I've got to vacuum this mess up and clean this place up. And I'll see you in the next video.